Hello! I'm back, and just like I promised, I made a jump cut time-lapse of my first painting using my newly acquired Art Philosophy gouache set. Throughout this video, I'll be sharing some more of my thoughts about using this paint set, and also a bit of my painting process this time around. In my last, or first, video, however you want to look at it, I did a swatch review of these paints. If you're interested in that video, the link to that is in the description. As a disclaimer, I am still very much a beginner at using this medium, so my impressions and opinions are purely coming from a standpoint of trying something new with little to no expectations of producing something of very high artistic quality. So with that, let's dive right in. The top painting is actually a watercolor painting I had done earlier of some African daisies in my garden, and so I thought I would paint a different variety of African daisies also from my garden. These ones are in a fun dual-toned orange and purple, but I ended up not painting them as orange as they should be, as you'll see later. One thing I noticed with these dried up paints I had left on the palette from the last time I used them was that they reactivated pretty easily with a spritz of water. Usually I'll draw a light sketch before I start painting, but today I was feeling a little bold and was like, what the heck, I'ma just go for it and see what happens. I started by laying down a thin layer of randomized strokes for the dirt and the mulch. Then I kind of just went by blocks of green that I saw in the photo. I'm not really sure what I was doing here, to be honest, but I was just kind of going with the flow and seeing what kinds of vague shapes I could create. I think I was going pretty heavy on the details this early on in the process. I definitely could have maybe held back on the details and just focused on the bigger shapes. Here you can see me laying down some white paint first before I go in with the yellow-orange colors, just so that I can make sure the orange and yellow colors show up more opaquely against the dark green underneath. I was pretty meticulous about these brush strokes as I was painting these flowers, especially since I didn't have a sketch to go by, but in the end, it worked out. Finally, I'm going in with the yellow-orange paint, covering the white areas that I had already laid down. The trick was to make sure that the white paint was completely dry so that I wasn't accidentally reactivating that paint and mixing it in with my yellow paint. Then I got kind of ahead of myself and tried to introduce some more colors, the purple colors that you see in the center of the flowers, before I even got to painting all my flowers yellow. So here I am, just trying to pace myself and focus on one task at a time. Like I mentioned earlier, I wish I had gone a little more orange with the flowers, but because I was kind of short on time, I didn't get a chance to go back and make the colors more true to the photo. And you could see me spritzing my palette as I went to make sure that my paints stay moist. Like I mentioned earlier, these paints reactivated pretty easily on the palette, and that was also the case on paper. I found that I was reactivating the layer underneath. Maybe being more familiar with watercolor, I am a little more heavy-handed with water, or I could have been impatient and didn't let the bottom layer dry all the way, but that was just another thing I noticed with these paints. Okay, so I've gone in with the purple color in the middle of the flowers. Honestly, I wish I could have blended that better with the yellow-orange parts. Maybe by using a little more water to reactivate the yellow-orange parts underneath and blend it in that way. But yeah, blending is definitely something I want to work on. Okay, so here I started painting the middle. I keep saying middle, I don't know what that part of the flower is called, but that dark circle in the middle, just kind of a random circle-like shape to finish it out. Here I'm adding to the shadows of the leaves, trying to darken the darks even more for greater contrast. Similarly, here I'm adding to the lights of the leaves just to make them pop a little more. And then I'm not really sure what I was doing here, but I think I was kind of bothered by the streakiness of the brown background, so I was trying to cover it up with a mulch-like texture. Yeah, not sure if I ended up liking it better or not, but it is what it is. I mean, it gave some kind of interest to the painting, I suppose. And yeah, I was pretty much done with the painting at this point. I didn't want to get too worked up over it since I was more or less doing this for practice and to just test out the new paints. It was really challenging, but I'm excited to keep practicing and learn new techniques. And this is the awkward end of the video where I realize I ran out of B footage, so I'm just gonna end it here and say that y'all can look forward to another video soon. Overall, I really enjoyed painting with this gouache set, and I look forward to painting some more stuff with it. Thanks for watching. Bye.